on that, looking at the negative effects, obviously they are enormous, and the effects might be bad, like you've mentioned, ranging from indiscipline cases and the misinformation and other negative effects. As a classroom teacher, professionally, and then as a school, which is an institution that nurtures these students, what are some of the ways that can be adopted to mitigate the negative effects of media, specifically social media and the internet?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Moses. This is actually quite tricky, basing on the nature of the nature under which we are raising our students. We have those who are raised in urban setting, where the parents are failing completely to manage their movements and maybe the use of these gadgets. But as a school, Moses, I think as schools we need to really be strict on this. For example, schools, we know why students must use phones, if at all they must use them anyway. We know how and why they should use laptops, if at all it's inevitable. We know what kind of content. To me, I think it's basically about knowing what kind of content these students should access. You see, I understand it is sometimes quite tricky, most especially with schools managing students from accessing that and this. But at the end of it all, when you accept to bring this kind of innovation in your school, you should as well go an extra mile. You make a step ahead of these students. Learn more of how you can, juggle around with technology. So that if it is in a school, there is that content which can only be accessed by students. And that one is very possible. Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, you set this work and, we shall only go to the computer lab to access this content. We shall, because I don't want to really confuse the concept by saying schools should not allow students to have phones, or parents allow stop students from having phones, because at the end of it all,
just if I'm to interject, the disallowing may be hard, but I just want to find out from you, are there rules and regulations governing the use of different electronic media, if at all the school is allowing them to have like phones or laptops or the internet, something like the way we used to have set rules? Maybe at 8 the dormitories are locked and everyone should be in prep for classes, and if you're found in the dorm past that time, it's an indiscipline case. Do we have specific rules, or it's now media has come, it's their right, and therefore they have phones everywhere, in the playground, if they're in class, it's not controlled? Do we have like a set of rules and regulations that schools like set and they must be followed?
Moses, absolutely. You see, you can't now appreciate media and you simply leave it, really open. If you do that one, then you are an enemy of progress. In fact, if you made the accessibility for these gadgets open, then honestly you are against the generation that is really coming. Yeah, so to me, I think as a school, setting regulations, honestly, it's quite significant. We must have it, and indeed that's what schools are doing.
That's what they're doing.
Of course, like if you talked about Mbuya parents, of course there are schools where we shall say no. Honestly, for now, a phone no. Honestly, for now, you will only use the computer gadgets. The school gadgets, which are basically the computers. Okay. And you will only access the computer laboratory basically to handle the content which has been prepared by the instructor. Therefore, in schools where there are students accessing phones, or they are allowed to go with their phones, there must definitely be really some legal framework within the school, internal legal framework. It should be there, so that a student knows, one, when you are found with a phone in the dormitory, then automatically you must be doing something wrong. Finding you with the phone in the dormitory is illegal, and therefore you can be subjected to ABCD. There is a penalty. Finding you with the phone when you are doing something contrary to what is supposed to be done, then there is a penalty. you will be subjected to a certain penalty. You see, these, using a phone past this time, that if you must have your phones at school, then you will use them between this time and this time. And there must be an instructor. That is also something very important. And in fact, for schools which would wish to opt to this is also another piece of advice I will give. Don't simply say students are here, internet is here, media is here, let everyone access what they can. That's where we shall go wrong. And before we may start with the positivity, the positive part of media, but then we may incur the very serious negative part of it, which may just really be very serious. So to me, I think if you decide to let students use phones at school based on the way you have prepared your content, there should be a certain mechanism. In fact, one of the strategies is to have an instructor, to have that technical person who will handle this. This technical person will help the school, Moses, to really guide and say, you know what, if these students go beyond this, I will do this, they will be disconnected.
Sure.
In fact, you can say, let them have phones, but the phones should not have lines. You see? That can as well be the strategy. Come with your smartphone, you see, but the smartphone should not be having a SIM card.
Okay.
So which means all these gadgets will be connected to a certain Wi-Fi. They are connected to internet. So it means that this instructor will say between now and this, internet is on. Between this time and this time, internet is off. You get the point? There can as well be a certain strategy of having a correction center. You have used the gadget fine for this particular lesson or for this particular session. Please hand over your gadget. Let them be controlled. They are your gadgets, but you will use them when it's really
perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I just want to now look at a life and the technical know-how of the teacher, of the current teacher. When you look back, you'd find a quite number of teachers who are qualified teachers maybe didn't have a chance of experiencing multimedia in schools, like use of different media, electronic media, the internet, computer, and all that stuff. And now here, this is the teacher who must kind of adopt and fit in, to live along this student who is born in this generation where there is advent of media. What are some of the challenges the teachers face in adopting to having multimedia technology in schools?
Yeah, true, Moses. In fact, it is becoming a very serious challenge.
Yes.
Because remember, teachers, they were not born teachers. They were also trained.
Yes.
We should remember that.
Yes.
They are also trained. So it means if there is an area where they were not trained, now, appreciating and welcoming the idea needs another training. In fact, this training, some, of course, teachers were equally different. Some other teachers, it may need a period equivalent to the period they spent in schools.
Sure.
That is also another very serious challenge that is really happening. So before you know, this is the teacher, maybe the school, they say, we are recruiting you, we are giving you a teaching post, but then you should have this skill. So in maneuvering to have a skill, you are not also able to control some of these students because they are more experts than you are. Before you know, you can't easily use internet to interpret some content so that you can assemble it into these teachable units that you can, which are quite elaborative. So it is really a challenge, and a challenge. I think it has something to do with training. But of course, training, which may not be so easy, it may be just a gradual training. Because if we say teachers first withdraw now from teaching, we give them about 2 years to go and train in this area, then automatically it will hinder the progress of academic achievements. But then at the end of it all, it's just a matter of teachers. Because if you are doing something with interest, you will love it, you will like it, and you will do it so fast. So to me, I think let the teachers out there, and basically maybe the teachers watching me tonight, we appreciate what has come. And we don't need to waste time to wait for any other second, but we need to step in. We train, we manage these skills, and then we get back and train the same students.
Perfect. Do you think, are schools having initiatives to help teachers retool or upskill in in regard to use of different media platforms.
Yeah.
Do you have any information on that?
Yes. I have had schools which have called, for refresher courses. I mean, trainings. I have had schools which, conduct these trainings regularly, like every, during the holidays, because these are the schools which have appreciated the innovation, which have appreciated that this has come and it has come to stay, and maybe they are preparing even for something else that will even come with time. So schools are giving a very great assist.
Okay.
They are honestly, training teachers. Very many schools have installed, these gadgets. Like Mbuya Parents, we have Wi-Fi connected in every corner of the school, and this is just free Wi-Fi. As long as you are part of the teaching staff, you access the internet, and you immediately, of course, you are taken through the basics. For example, you must know how to use your laptop to prepare content that you will, of course, project. You are taken through different segments to see how these different, teachable units are well, put right. And beyond that, you are also taken through some of the technical areas. So in case you get a question from your students, will you be able to defend, or you are the teacher who will raise up your hands and say, honestly, here I can't. The schools are appreciating the innovation, and they are taking an initiative to really support teachers so that they can acquire the same skills that they will use in classes.
Yeah. No, that's then very good if there's such support. Yes, Edwin, thank you very much. Dear viewers, we are still discussing media in schools, and I'm with Edwin, who is a professional teacher. We've really looked at the importance of media, and we all agree it's very, very, very important. But between me and you, we know that schools, not all these media techniques and media tools are in all schools. There might be some challenges and limitations. In just 1 or 2 minutes, Edwin, can you highlight some of the limitations schools face in the face of media advancement?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you, Moses. I think this is where another big challenge is, because very many schools would wish really to tap into this. This is an opportunity that has come, but really they are not accessing the services simply because, of course, we shall talk about electricity. So when we talk about education and schools, we talk about the whole country.
Yes.
But it is not very practical and realistic that all districts in this country, for example, have electricity. Well, if they all have electricity, it's not very practical that different schools in those remote areas, they have electricity. And yet, of course, you will not talk about media and you withdraw internet. And the internet needs electricity. You will not talk about media and then you withdraw the charging gadgets and whatnot. So at the end of it all, these teachers would wish as well to have this kind of experience, but they are limited by this issue of electricity. They are not accessing electricity. Deep down in different areas of this country, they have no electricity, and yet it is urgently needed for these gadgets to be operated. That's one. Number two, like we earlier on said, there is still a problem of attitude. It is also another serious limitation. That even when you say, you people, you have electricity, gadgets are even donated. These people will tell you, no. You have brought another, element in education, which is going to really distance us from our old norms. People still believe in the traditional setting of teaching, which is very, very, very unfortunate. So at the end of it all, you are fighting with attitude, and attitude is a very great enemy, most especially in any kind of innovation, because we will push it so hard, they will bounce it so hard. You get the point? Then the other area, maybe where I find it so serious, is that we are failing to balance. People are having, like these students, they come to schools with their own interests, and then they find schools having their own interests. Some proprietors of these schools have got their own interests. Maybe someone has been, promised to get these, laptops and whatnot, or computers, and pushes it so hard without actually, skipping some stages of training and whatnot. Before you know, students are saying, I came here specifically to handle the part of physics and mathematics and this, so I don't need this. So there is a need to really take this information to different parts of the country so that people can appreciate the innovation.
Thank you very much. Interesting discussions around media. I know we can talk and talk and talk because it is what it is. So thank you very much, Edwin. Our time is well spent. Maybe in 1 or 2 minutes, I can give just a few seconds, parting shots to the viewers.
Okay, thank you very much, of great viewers. It has been a very great one, of course, at the Best TV tonight. For my case, of course, it has been another golden opportunity. I just can never take this one for granted. And of course, my good friends of Mbuya Parents, whom I know you are there watching, thank you very much. My people in Ushenyi, of course, I alerted some friends whom I believe they are really watching. I just thank you very much for the love. And then to all of us viewers, my all different media handles, of course, I talk about my YouTube channel, The Science Doctor. Please go and check out my content, watch it right there, and then of course remember to subscribe and do other sorts of stuff. And of course, as I leave out tonight, I welcome you to Mbuya Parents School tomorrow, as we shall be celebrating the African Child Day. Of course, we shall be right there. We shall move around the Mbuya area. Those members who are within, come and join the team. We do the matching. You see the good fruits that we have really put in children. Alongside Moses, I have put up a very good program of character and integrity development, which is running across, and I believe people will enjoy it. Very soon I will be launching this book.
Thank you very much for your work, and thank you for visiting. Thank you for allowing and coming and being a host. And we talk about media influence in schools. Very, very important. Thank you, Edwin. You're watching Bethan TV for Health, and this is Back to Basics. I'm your host, Moses. Remember, follow us on Twitter, Bethan TV, and Facebook, Bethan Television UG. Also, we are always live on GoTV and free to air. B2B always happens Monday to Friday, 10 to 11. Don't forget to tune in and watch these topics that touch our lives. Thank you very much, viewers.